President Buhari at 77. Happy birthday anniversary to President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, GCFR, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON, and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Spectacle of Television Nigerian felicitate and celebrate with you on the occasion of your birthday anniversary. May Allah strengthen and keep you alive to build the Nigeria of our dream. Happy birthday. Anyway, Spectacle today will be discussing the profile of President Muhammadu Buhari. And with me in the studio to do this is my regular analyst, O.J. Matthew, a competent comrade of great repute and a political commentator. Welcome to Spectacle.
Thank you very much.
You will stay tuned with us. After this short break, we will come to deal with the issue of discussion today, talking about President Muhammadu Buhari.
The issue here we have to begin to look at is that at the time of independence, I don't know if there was a trajectory to where we are going to.
How could it be that credible, free and fair under manual conduct of election?
That is where our problem lies, and that is why people are now saying that, advising that we should move, that the world has gone into digital. We should move from the manual to the digital.
We cannot keep doing same thing and expecting a different result.
The only way you create jobs from your ministry is that you have to encourage local content.
If you look at the profile of Sali Mama,
there is a caveat in this leave given to him. He should seek medical help if he's fine.
Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. Yeah, welcome back. I said we are discussing President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria at 77. I want to have a clean look, from his Wikipedia profile. President Buhari was born on December 17, 1942 in Daura, Katsina State. After his primary education at Daura, Buhari enrolled at the age of 19 in the Nigerian Military Training College, NMTC, in 1962. In February 1964, the college was upgraded to Officer Commissioning Unit of the Nigerian Army and renamed the Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA. Prior to 1964, the Nigerian government sent cadets who had completed their NMTC preliminary training to mostly Commonwealth military academies for officers cadet training. And from 1962 to 1963, Buhari underwent officer cadet training at Mons Officer Cadet School in Aldershot in England. In January 1963, at the age of 20, Buhari was commissioned a second lieutenant and appointed platoon commander of the 2nd Infantry Battalion in Abeokuta, Nigeria. And from November 1963 to January 1964, Buhari attended the platoon commander's course at the Nigerian Military Training College, Kaduna. And in 1964, he facilitated his military training by attending the Mechanical Transport Officers course at the Army Mechanical Transport School in Borden, United Kingdom. And from 1965 to 1967, Buhari served as commander of the 2nd Infantry Battalion and appointed Brigade Major, 2nd Sector, 1st Infantry Division, April 1967 to July 1967. From 1970 to 1971, Buhari was Brigade Major Commandant, 31st Infantry Brigade. He then served as the Assistant Adjutant General, 1st Infantry Division Headquarters from 1971 to 1972. He also attended the Defense Services Staff College, Wellington in India in 1973. From 1974 to 1975, Buhari was Acting Director of Transport and Supply at the Nigerian Army Corps of Supply and Transport Headquarters. And from 1st August 1975 to 3rd February 1976, General Murtala Mohammed appointed Buhari as governor of the northeastern state to oversee socio-economic and political improvements in the state. Buhari also briefly served as governor of Borno State from 3rd February 1976 to 15th March 1976. On 3rd February 1976, the northeastern state was divided by the military government into Bauchi, Borno, and Gongola states. And in August 1991, Yobe State was created from Borno State, while Gongola State was split into 2 states, Taraba and Adamawa. And in October 1996, Gombe State was created from Bauchi State. In March 1976, the head of state, General Olusegun Obasanjo, appointed Buhari as a federal commissioner, which is today known as Minister for Petroleum and Natural Resources, when the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation was created in 1977. Buhari was also appointed as its chairman, a position he held until 1978. During Buhari's tenure as the Federal Commissioner for Petroleum and Natural Resources, the government invested in pipelines and petroleum storage infrastructures. The government built about 21 petroleum storage depots all over the country, from Lagos to Maiduguri and from Calabar to Gusau. The administration constructed a pipeline network that connected Bonny Terminal and the Port Harcourt refinery to the depots. Also, the administration signed a contract for the construction of a refinery in Kaduna and an oil pipeline that will connect the Escravos oil terminals to Warri refinery and the proposed Kaduna refinery, which is fully, in function now. Now, that is just the academic profile and administrative profile, little of it, of President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm not going into his private life of his marriage with his first wife and the second wife, Aisha Buhari, and the rest like that. I just want us to look at the man Buhari from this, military training, military experience, his biography and education, his experience and what he has, the reputation he has gathered, the pedigrees that he has gathered over the years, and eventually he became the president of the nation. How do you look at this metamorphosis?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. If you look at the man, Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, from the little background you just told us about him, you see that he has this vast experience,
yes,
of military life. Yeah, he has also served at one point, in governance. During the military junta in the 70s, like you said, he was the governor of the northeastern states. At least he served for over a year. In that role, he was appointed in 1976 and was there 1975 and was there in 1976. And of course, the same year he was briefly the governor of Borno State, which is in 1976. So that will tell you that all this while, President Muhammadu Buhari has tested power. He knows what governance is all about. And that is why you see that during those period, between 2003 and up until when he
contested,
yes,
5 times,
3 times.
Oh yeah, 3 times.
3 times.
Okay.
And finally got it the 4th time.
The 4th time.
You understand?
Sorry.
So that's to tell you that he knows what governance is all about. He knows what the people need. You understand? And because he has tested it before. Now, in his first stint as a head of state between 1983 to 1985, you can also see that
some of his economic policies and disciplinary policies.
Yes, particularly the disciplinary policy.
The war against indiscipline.
Till today, I think a lot of people still revere that as maybe the best moment Nigerians have experienced when it comes to discipline. It's not now that discipline has like eroded us in every sphere of our social life.
But we have him
country.
again. He's still on.
We have him again, but I think the challenge now is so enormous that the issue of discipline is not the core thing now. It's I think his mantra now is anti-corruption.
Yeah.
Here and there you hear that EFCC has arraigned some particular government, people.
And I think he's doing incredibly okay there.
Yeah, when it comes to the anti-corruption, yes. And only recently, at least, EFCC got judgments over, the sentencing of a big fish. You understand? So you see, so I think all these things are part of what he part of its legacy, whether we like it or not.
Yes.
He has actually done very well over time, and like you said, looking at his
pedigrees of
educational background in the military, I don't know if all these things still happens this time around. Those days you see that military personnel go from one course and the other, go to India, England, and all that. So this
LFCT, whatever.
So I don't know if this is. I don't know if.
And a man of that cadre that has all these pedigrees of education was being mocked by some persons during the election. What will you that he doesn't have certificate? You could imagine that.
Well, I think that has been settled in the courts, but it's surprising that there are those who question his educational background, having known that, yes, look, in the military, the kind of schools or training you get, academic training you get, even supersedes the secondary school that we're talking about. I think their own argument then was, how did he get into the military? I think that is just the whole issue.
We just read it.
You understand?
How it was enlisted.
But I think the court has settled that, and that has so
that was actually a mendacious propaganda from some quarters.
In politics, you always find a loophole to nail your perceived opponent. You understand? So that is why they say those who go to equity come with clean hands and all that. So the opposition or the opposition to try to use that as a yardstick why he should not be the president in the first place and all that. But I think from the records, that look, he has gone to various institutions, while he was serving as as a military man. So I think he has the experience, and this is somebody that we should give him time. We still give him time. We'll still 3 years. We'll still have 3 years plus.
I think there is hope for us with what we saw when he was a commissioner for petroleum. He was also metamorphosed to be the minister for petroleum, of which up to date he is during IBB's time, and he built infrastructure. I could imagine during the General Olusegun's time, he was the one that actually built all the refineries, the structures, the pipelines, and so on. So if this man is credibly good in terms of administrative governance, it means we have hope for our refinery in the next 3 years.
Yes, and that's why some of his critics are saying that now what you did in the 70s in the petroleum sector should be replicated now. Why are the refineries not working and all that? Don't forget that even during the late General Sani Abacha, he was the man in charge of PTF, Petroleum Tax Force, then, and he did very, very well, using the petroleum fund to build, to do some developmental.
PTF.
If you recall,
hospitals.
During the 90s. You understand? So.
Tar roads.
Yes, he has actually done very, very well when managing resources. And
do you see that expertise that he brought into the economy? That policy, this economic policy driving. Do you see it in this democratic dispensation right now?
Well, it's yet to be seen. I think on paper, they are trying to see how they can turn around the economy and all that. And recall that so a few months back, this economic team that he has formed, that the advisory committee and all that. We just hope that this will quickly translate into what a lot of people expect him and his administration to do for the country. But we are in December, and no one is really talking about food skyrocketing the way
it used to be. And fuel,
petroleum crisis and all that. It's like it's a thing of the past.
Yeah, I think
by now we should be talking about queues and filling stations. Food.
Honestly, by now we used to queue our vehicles 4-5 days waiting for just to get PMS.
PMS and all that. I think just 2 days to
people are hoarding in their houses getting caught by fire and so on.
And all that. And
that era has actually gone.
It appears that era is gradually going. I think if he can sustain,
that
this,
is General Muhammadu Buhari.
If he can sustain this, I think Nigerians will be happy. For instance, this will be a very cheap or very good, if by this festive period now, this situation continues. It's a very good point.
It has continued for 3.5 years.
We cannot witness fuel scarcity. We cannot, witness the prices of food. Does not go higher than this and all that. And people celebrate, the Christmas.
Juiciness and more on Posh Spice, the show that brings you all of the most entertaining content from the entertaining world of entertainment.
That's lit, man!
So watch me bring sizzling hot content to you on Television Nigerian. You can watch us on our nice concert platforms, and if you are not a fan of television, watch us on our social media platforms and our web TV, of course.
Don't miss it. Seriously, don't miss it. My job literally depends on it.
Sorry for that break in transmission. It was due to little technical hiccup in the studio. But we are back again, and if you want to participate, of course, you can call us via the numbers that are displayed on the screen. We are talking about President Muhammadu Buhari at 77, his pedigrees and his administrative prowess is what Spectacle is viewing today in a lighter mode. And with me in the studio has been OJ Matthew, a political and public affairs commentator. OJ, we were talking before what struck the technical hiccup. We're talking about Buhari in the democratic dispensation. After all these military cadre, pedigrees, disciplinary prowess, administrative prowess, economic policies, and we're talking about we have relief from fuel scarcity, food scarcity, and so on. Are you seeing a new country, contrary to the opinion of many, that Buhari is, unleashing hardship on the people?
You see, one thing that Nigerians are very, very, let me use this word, bad at is accepting change. We once we are used to a particular thing or way of life,
even if it is corruption,
we want to maintain it. So
people were even saying, "Bring back our corruption."
You understand? So
because they were hungry.
Yeah, because things are beginning to change. The president is trying to change some things, how we do. Or we operate.
Yeah.
So some people are seeing it as hardship. Let's take, for instance, the closure of the border.
Yeah, it's beginning to yield.
Yeah, yes. If not that, well, I know that, okay, 100, it cannot be 100% positive, but at least we can see that there is a large chunk of positivity from the closure of border.
Yeah.
Let's take it from the perspective of fuel consumption in the country.
Okay.
Now, before now, we've been told that Nigerians consume 50 million liters of fuel every day.
Every day.
But since the closure of
the border,
it has reduced. It has reduced by 6 million.
6 million.
Yes, by 6 million.
So actually, they were exporting. That's
to tell you that we are actually not consuming what we're told that we are consuming. This is a part of the policy that we are talking about. You understand? And you see, you need to be drastic when you want to bring change. That should be a deliberate approach to it.
Drastic measures.
Yes. So Nigerians, we are too, relaxed
used to
the particular way of life. So that is why there are those who will be saying that, oh no, it's bringing hardship, this and that to Nigeria. But before you know it, we just get used to the situation.
Ironically,
yes,
the people complaining seems to be mostly the opposition, political harbingers, and if you look at them, it is not actually the masses that are complaining.
No, you cannot say the masses are not complaining, but it's the initial reaction to every policy.
Okay,
you understand? The masses react, but before you know it, they'll begin to see the positivity of the policy. Yeah. And then immediately they adjust. But the opposition, I'm very sorry to say, they react based on public complaints.
Yeah.
Once they know that the public are trying to, the public opinion towards a particular policy is going this way, they now cash in. They try to cash in into public,
use it as a
propaganda
and blackmail.
Yeah, and blackmail in most cases. You understand? So, but the point I'm trying to make is that yes, the President Muhammadu Buhari, has to deliver, and he's doing his best to see that is achieved, because that is the only legacy he can leave. He can leave behind. He has attained. In fact, he has attained whatever he wants to attain in life.
Yeah.
So now is, after 2023, what will people remember me for? You understand? That is the next thing.
To emancipate
Nigeria. That is the next thing he wants to do now. Like in the 77th birthday today, he specifically talked about electoral reform. That in 2023, he must make sure that the 2023 election is done in a way that everybody will accept it. So that's to tell you that he is aware that look,
of the
something needs
anomalies
to
in the electoral act.
The electoral
and the conduct of our election.
Our election is a major thing. You understand? And if he can, because the issue of Bayelsa and Kogi state governorship election recently actually does not augur well with most people. So we don't want that to happen in 2023 under his watch, and that is why he has specifically mentioned that today.
All right.
You understand? So 2023, conducting a free and fair election in the country is his, one of the policies he will want to leave behind. And these are some of the things.
And what about this is open visa policy? Do you have anything to say about it? How do you think that open visa policy, do you see any consequence, or you see prospect from it?
No, you see, I think the idea behind visa on arrival policy of the current government, which will start in January, for African countries, it's not for everybody.
Yes,
for African countries, is to is to, is to encourage Africans.
All right.
Understand, Africans to visit the country, to come and invest, and all that. I think that is the main.
That is the main. It's for economic reasons.
It's for economic
it's
reasons.
Purely for economic reasons.
Yes, but those who are, of course, not in tandem.
Always opposition angle must come.
Yeah, it must surely come in. But
critics must look into it negatively, no matter what,
like
you said.
Yes,
but we know it's for economic.
It's for economic reason and for integration.
And for integration.
Yeah, and for integration.
That's good.
Let no one be deprived of, for instance, coming to Nigeria because you are from South Africa, Namibia, or whatever. Visa, for you to get visa to visit the country becomes stringent and all that. Once if people are visiting, if Africans, our African brothers and sisters are visiting the country, it will boost the economy. Tourism will be affected.
They could invest.
They could invest and all that. I think that is just
educate here and pay tuition fees and so on.
Yes.
But do you see any adverse, security threat from that policy in terms of this insurgency that is happening? Some quarters are complaining that this open door policy may, allow insurgency to come in to pretend and do havoc to the country. Do you see the military being porous to that level? Because under Buratai, we have had successes upon successes upon successes against insurgents and terrorism. Do you still see it as a threat, this open visa policy?
Yeah, there could be some reasons to think that way.
Yeah.
Those who are, like I said, those who are, of course, not in tandem with this new policy might use that as an excuse that anybody can just come in. You are opening your doors for anybody to come in.
In the African continent.
In the African country. But I think it is up to the immigration and those saddle the responsibility of protecting our airports and our land border and our borders to make sure that they live up to their responsibility to apprehend those who are not supposed to come in the first place.
Okay.
Even if you are someone who welcomes people visitors to your house, it's not everybody that you
the army are trained to doing that, and the immigration too.
The immigration, the customs, all of them. Those saddle the responsibility have a lot of work to do in that regard. But I think it's a laudable policy that will bring integration, bring love, bring Africa together and all that. I don't think there will be much issue with that.
All right. The president and his policy of third tiers, looking at the third tiers in this administration, I learned he has just signed, asked the National Assembly to sign this dichotomy between states and local government, the separation of power. That's what I'm talking about. Do you think within these remaining 3 years it will be vividly and explicitly achieved?
Okay, well,
for the local government to have political and administrative autonomy. It's another striking, spectacular policy there.
Yeah, you see, that has always been the dream of Mr. President.
It has been amended. I think Section 124 of the act that established local government and joined them with the state. Separation of power completely now is being done. So do you think the implementation will further under his watch explicitly?
You see, I don't see that happening before 2023.
So
it will be difficult because the governors will not just allow the local governments to go like that.
Legislative policy.
You recall that was it some few months ago? He ensured that
the NFIU,
the NFIU,
the financial autonomy
bill to local government, for them to get their money directly and all that, so that the governors cannot handle.
But that is done. It's less for the local government chairman.
Yeah, but you and I know that the governors have also devised a means of the
FCC will go after them in the long run. We know that. So even the chairmen are not going to be free. So it is a law now, and we are begging that the continuity, especially this administrative, that means local government administrative autonomy, meaning that local government election will be conducted by INEC, is another policy of President Muhammadu Buhari.
If that is done, if local government's election will be conducted by INEC, and they will actually become autonomous as they are supposed to be, as enshrined by the Constitution and everything, that will be a very good legacy of Mr. President. Now, and that is what we all are looking forward to. Because if the local governments are autonomous, it will bring development to the local level.
To the rural areas.
To the rural areas. That is what a lot of Nigerians have been yearning for.
Now, with all these striking policies and enactment of Mr. President, if you look at it from the Treasury single account to that of the NFIU policy, the homegrown feeding, and then subsequently we have the NDE policy, then the what do you call it? The recent policy of the visa policy, then the policy of administrative autonomy to local government, and don't look at all these vision that policies that Mr. President have enacted within just 5 years. Could you say the man is visionary?
Of course, there's no two ways about that. He's visionary, and this is not surprising. And this is because he has been there before.
Okay.
So he knows what the people want. Just that the setting he finds himself now is the main problem. But you understand.
What is that setting you're talking about?
Democratic setting,
whereby
you have to, you cannot, of course, take decision by fiat anymore.
Okay.
You have to send it to the National Assembly, they debate it, and all those things that he has found himself. He knows what the people wants. He knows what he wants.
But they have a National Assembly now that could make some laws.
That is just recently.
So if he can rush the laws, the bills passed, and I don't think the reps or the Senate consult with their people before even passing laws. So
no, you cannot say that the Senate don't consult.
They don't consult. Where do they consult? Have they consulted you before in your area? Or have they done a constituency briefing that we are going for this law? This law is going to be people oriented law, whatever. Have they done that in your exit?
But what the Senate told you, or at least the Senate President said, is that any bill they feel that it's people oriented, they will not delay.
All right.
So whatever whatever bill the president sends to the Senate, and the Senate, if they find it deemed that, look, this bill is for the people, it's not self-centered, they don't delay.
Yeah, but from your own point of view as an analyst, where you just have 4 minutes to go, as an analyst, the policies, the bills so far passed into law by Mr. President, do you see them as people-oriented?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
If we start mentioning all those bills, you see that
all those laws now.
You know that they are people-oriented. So, but we still need more. We still need.
Baba at 77 should ride on.
Baba at 77 should ride on. Should be focused, and he should leave a good legacy, like he has promised. So that by May 29 or June 12, 2023, he will leave a happy man and rest.
A fulfilled man. An office he vied for three times and got it at the fourth time.
And he'll be happy going back to Daura.
And do you smell any rats around Baba? Like people are complaining, they are taking over his government, even from his immediate family. They are not allowing his wife to have. Do you see the cabal and the cartel trying to, seize the government of President Buhari from his normal Buhari that we used to know?
Yes, I don't want to use the word cabal. It will be too harsh for me to use that word, but from the feelers we are getting, it appears that there's some people who would want to, like they're trying to make things work their own way without even letting him know.
The general will just pretend he doesn't know.
You understand?
And later will come back and strike on them.
You understand? So we just hope that he opens his eyes very well. He makes sure that nobody hijacks his government for him, whether they are his best friends or whoever they are.
Or his family members.
Because the Nigerian people did not mandate them to do that on his behalf. It is him that the Nigerian people voted for.
All right.
Therefore, he should do everything possible to ensure that he governs us well.
So from you, what will you say to Mr. President?
Well, Mr. President, I want to wish you a happy birthday anniversary, and we wish you a long life and good health, and we wish that you surely achieve what you really want to achieve for the country. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. That has been OJ Matthew, and Spectacle Live has been talking about Baba Buhari, President Muhammadu Buhari at 77, the man Buhari at 77. And we wish him a glorious and happy birthday anniversary, and we want him to be stern against corruption. One of his policies, one of the greatest policies that brought him to power. We will continue to support him in as long as he fights against corruption. He is for nobody and he is for everybody. Congratulations, Mr. President. And this is where Spectacle will stop. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms at Twitter at TV Nigerian, Facebook, Television Nigerian. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, view us on Instagram and all the social media platforms. Drop your comments as it suits you, your opinions will be carried. Thanks for watching. This is where we stop for today. I've been your host, Daniel Atai. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai.